Okay, look guys, I'm no inside the magic, but this restaurant in City Walk is cooked. Toothsome Chocolate Emporium in City Walk in Hollywood is struggling. Overall, they've been having a very difficult time attracting guests into the restaurant, but also dining at the restaurant, you'll notice that it's not the best experience. Now, first of all, let me talk about what used to be here. Hard Rock Cafe was one of the greatest restaurants in all of City Walk history. I mean, it's not only iconic because of its huge guitar, but it's in so many music videos like Justin Bieber's Baby. Not only that, but Hard Rock had such amazing rep at Universal Studios Hollywood. I think the more iconic piece of this Hard Rock has to be the Cadillac inside of Hard Rock Cafe. Not only theming, but the restaurant was always popping. There was always such a great vibe with this restaurant. The restaurant had probably the best servers in the world. Like, literally everyone in there was so friendly. It also housed so many people because there were so many seats everywhere. Like, this is the one restaurant in City Walk, you'll see it popping every Friday and Saturday nights every single week. Literally, even in the non-peak season, Hard Rock was just always popping. The energy was always incredible, the food was great, the desserts were even better. But it closed down, and they replaced it with Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. And I'll be very honest, I was so excited to see this make an appearance on the West Coast. The restaurant is amazing in Florida. The vibes are immaculate. The food was always great, and they always had characters walking around. That's what I love so much about this restaurant out in Florida. But in Hollywood, it's quite the opposite. I'm not exactly sure what happened with this restaurant, what went wrong. But literally from day one, we had a problem with this restaurant. The food was not great, not the best food I've had. So after maybe 6 or 7 months, they decided to cut down the menu big time. Now they have a new menu, and I went there recently just to try it out, just to give it a third chance, and I wasn't impressed. First of all, their new menu is very small. If you really tried, you could probably fit this menu on like a sticky note. And also, they shot up the prices like crazy. So during my recent visit to Toothsome, I tried the mac and cheese. It was $17.99. Let me tell you, this was no mac and cheese. They brought me a tiny plate, maybe a kid-sized plate of pasta. This pasta was not even fully cooked. It was kind of rough to chew into this pasta. I didn't want to say anything to my server because I really hate being that person to send food back. So I just kind of dealt with it. And this pasta made me miserable. It was $17.99. And there was no cheese, no mac. There was Alfredo sauce on top of my pasta. Now, don't worry, because I didn't confuse myself with a fettuccine alfredo and a mac and cheese. The menu literally said mac and cheese. Now, it's really funny because I go back to the menu now, and the mac and cheese price actually went up. It's no longer $17.99. It's $18.95. And I remember this distinctively because I did want to order a fettuccine alfredo, but I didn't want to pay $21.95. So I ordered that mac and cheese, and I was so disappointed. Now, I really hate hating on things. I know I talk smack about a lot of things, mostly the mummy ride at Universal. And let me just defend myself here because you guys have no idea how I feel about the mummy ride. Sure, right now I'm saying I hate the ride because of its flaws, but you have to take into account that I grew up with this ride. I've grown up with the mummy ride. It was one of my favorite roller coasters growing up, and I saw this ride in mint condition. As a kid, they had the original ending on this ride. They had all the animatronics working, and they had all these effects that no longer exist anymore. And they can fix this very easily. They can easily install projectors to fix the original ending. They can easily fix those animatronics. Those are very simple servo motors that they have running in there. Or it could be pneumatics, I don't know. Regardless, it's an easy fix on the mummy ride, and they could do all these changes so I can stop hating on it. So that's the only reason I hate on it, because they don't fix any of the things that are broken. Anyways, let me stop ranting about the mummy ride before I get too carried away. Let's talk about Toothsome. Now, I have to give Hollywood's Toothsome this one thing, and it's that their patty melt that they had, it was really, really good. And I was really bummed out because the last time I went, I was hoping to order a patty melt, but they removed it off the menu. Their patty melt was unique because instead of using like sourdough toast as you traditionally would on a patty melt, they used French toast. They had the burger meat inside, they topped it with cheese, they had bacon inside, and on the top they had another French toast with syrup on top. And it was like the greatest thing ever. It was delicious. It was sweet and savory, and it came with delicious fries. And I think on the top there was an egg, if I'm not mistaken. So this was the one menu item I actually loved having at Toothsome in Hollywood, but I was really disappointed that they didn't have it on my most recent visit. Now, I wanted to give the burgers a shot as well, but I couldn't justify paying $20 for a burger. So that's why I stuck with either the fettuccine alfredo or the macaroni and cheese. It was like $3-4 less. That honestly goes a long way because prices at restaurants are getting so pricey, especially at Toothsome. And it makes sense because they have to stay in business. They have to raise the prices. But that obviously doesn't make guests want to dine there if it's way too expensive. Now, this restaurant is going downhill. They're removing the Jacques and Penelope meet and greets as of December 31st. So December 31st, if they're out on your visit, will be your last time seeing them. They're not out every day, by the way, probably just Fridays and Saturdays. Now, there is one exciting thing to this restaurant, and it's that they moved the bar from the back of the kitchen to the front of the restaurant. So now you can actually go and sit at a bar stool and drink from the bar. I've never had any of the drinks at Toothsome, so I can't really comment on whether or not the drinks are good, but I don't think a coconut margarita or an espresso martini is my cup of tea. So that's why I've passed on the drinks there. But that's obviously exciting, and it could be good for business. I'm not sure how well it's doing. The bar just opened last week. I personally haven't walked by it quite yet, but I'll have to do it on my next visit. Also, another thing is I never really liked any of the milkshakes offered at the Foundry except the Rocket Pop milkshake. They had this only last summer for City Walk's anniversary, and that's it. I had that shake at least 6 times, and it was delicious. And since they got rid of the drink, I haven't been back to the Foundry since then until they brought that Wicked drink, which was nasty. Like, I have no idea what I drank, but that was just so gross. And I really hate hating on things. Trust me, guys, I hate hating on things. But this restaurant is very different than the one you can find in Orlando. They obviously spent a lot of money and time figuring out how to make this work in Hollywood, and I think all it takes is a better menu, maybe a new chef, and some positive word of mouth will really go a long way. This restaurant is mostly suffering, to my knowledge, because it has bad rep, it has bad word of mouth. Everyone that has visited this restaurant hasn't had a good experience. Maybe some people did, but the majority says otherwise. So that's probably why this restaurant is struggling. Now, I'm obviously not rooting on its downfall. I want this restaurant to succeed. They just need to fix some of its kinks. And maybe even the soundtrack that plays inside, because they play the same 4 songs and it gets really annoying when you're dining there. Sorry, I just really had to point that out because that bothers me every single time I dine there. It's literally just the same 4 electro swing songs on repeat. It's really annoying. If you've ever dined there, you'll know what I mean. But maybe they need to focus on how to bring that energy back into the restaurant. Obviously, Hard Rock had a lot of positive energy, and it was always exciting dining there. So they need to figure out how to bring that to this restaurant. Maybe putting on some brighter lights, making the interior a little more vibrant. Maybe that'll attract more guests. Playing some music, upping the live entertainment, fixing the food, all of those will go a long way. And I think that's how they can fix this restaurant. They obviously have big plans for City Walk, and they've started to make big moves in City Walk with Insomnia Cookies. We have Hello Kitty Cafe. We're getting some big IPs in City Walk. We're getting an escape room, but they need to have the restaurants to accommodate the amount of people that are going to be here for City Walk's nightlife. So they definitely need to fix Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. Now, before I end this video, I just want to apologize for my last video. I said that there aren't many great rides at Universal, and I didn't mean by like great rides as in the rides there. They obviously have so many awesome rides like Transformers, Mario Kart, Harry Potter, etc. I meant roller coasters. I meant to say roller coasters, not rides. Roller coaster wise, we only have the Mummy Ride and Hippogriff, and obviously I was glazing Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. Obviously this is going to be such a great roller coaster. So I just wanted to apologize for the miscommunication there. I meant roller coasters. We don't have roller coasters in Hollywood. I hope you found today's video entertaining. I really hate hating, and I can't stop repeating that because I'm not the type of person to hate on things like this. But they really need to fix some things at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium for it to succeed in 2025. There's a strong possibility that this restaurant doesn't succeed and it falls, and I really don't want to see that happen.